You're listening to Counterclockwise, where we decide the best of the best of unimportant categories. The can of corn across the table from me is my favorite brother, Brandon Wise. How are you, buddy?
Well, it's Christmas season, as you know.
Christmas.
And
ho, ho, ho.
Obviously, the listeners can't see it, but I do have a little
itty-bitty Christmas tree.
Little itty-bitty foot-and-a-half
Ohio.
Christmas tree.
It's Ohio State themed.
Yes, with the Coors Banquet ornament you just gave me on it.
Yeah.
And
they got a bunch of those little mini ornaments.
Thank you, by the way. I really like that. That might be one of my favorite ornaments already.
I figured you'd like that.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. But in the spirit of Christmas, I have a tree topper here.
I got you.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. You know, last year I did Joe Flacco because he was my angel last year.
Do you want to do that after after the intro music?
No, I was going to let you do the honors and do it right now.
Okay.
So you can open it, and you'll see what our tree topper is, and you can put it on.
Okay.
You were just bringing this up that it's your background on your computer.
Yeah, it was literally, that's funny. I mean, it's perfect. Like you couldn't ask for a better guy. We got Big Christmas himself, John Kenzie Noel here.
He's my angel. He's my big lovable angel.
Oh man, am I sticking it in the? You got a little paper clip up here.
Yeah.
Stick it in the thing.
Yeah.
Nope. Maybe not. Right there. Right. Yep, there he is. That's perfect. You could as soon as that guy came in and he made his debut, like everybody knew. Every fan was like, okay, yeah, he's the guy I'm putting on my tree.
I don't even care if he turns out or not, because the fact that his last name's Noel and his nickname's Big Christmas, he's my angel for life.
Yeah, that might be a permanent situation on the top of the
shout out to our mother with the assist there. She's the one who printed out the picture for me. I tried printing it out and it was like in like shitty black and gray, and I was like, this looks awful.
Doesn't look right.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
It looks like he died. It's like an in memoriam.
I was like,
video.
Big Christmas doesn't deserve this. He deserves better. He deserves a color picture.
Color. Yeah, of course. You got the red and green. You got the red sleeve with
perfect.
the green grass background.
It's perfect.
It's perfect.
Yeah, I took a picture, so we'll put it on the page so
Feliz
people know
Navidad.
what the fuck we're talking about. But
Okay. Well, anyway, I am Tyler Wise, and up next, can of corn, I'll be fine, can of corn. Repulsive Vegetables coming up in about 23 seconds.
Navigation. 3. Science number 2. He was number 1.
So, the last episode, not sure if it was part 1 or 2, we talked about a character from Rick and Morty, Turkey Rick. He was one of the competitors in, I can't remember what you called it, like a foul. But
it was a turn down for what? Battle Royal. Thanksgiving turned down for what? Battle Royal. How could you forget?
Turn foul for what? I was trying to think of a bird pun. Bird. I don't know. I purred. I don't know why purred came out, like purred happily from Parks and Rec. Anyway, but you had never seen Rick and Morty. You never watched it,
Correct.
even though I've told you to watch it
a million times.
Like 10 times a year.
It's been on my list for like 3 years.
Yeah. You finally watched it.
I did.
Shortly after, you sent me a picture of the screen.
Yeah.
You were finally getting started.
I was like, you know what? Because I want to be able to talk about it.
Yeah. And you told me updates to follow or something.
Correct.
Yeah.
And I don't think I provided any.
No.
So
we have not talked about it since.
In the 2 weeks, basically,
yeah,
I've watched the whole season or whole series.
even the newest season.
Yeah, watch the whole series. I've already started my rewatch. I'm already done with season 1 again.
Yeah, it's a quick watch. You just want to keep pumping them out.
Every episode is so action packed, you don't realize how quick it's going.
Yeah, they go quick because there's so much. They just jam a whole bunch in there. There's no dry stuff.
So I have 9 points I want to make.
Okay.
They're quick points.
You have a spreadsheet or a PowerPoint presentation?
No, I have it on my little triad notepad thing.
Perfect.
All right. Point 1, obviously, I should have watched this way sooner. This is a fantastic show.
Yeah.
I can't believe I did.
I feel like it's like right up your alley too.
It's so up my alley. Okay, you're gonna agree, but it's basically Back to the Future on an alternate timeline. I know it's kind of a ripoff. They
obviously,
mention it on the show that
Obviously different, yeah.
they mention on the show that they're a ripoff, right?
Yeah. The like original iteration was even more of a ripoff, and they had to change it because
It
like
was too
originally
close.
they did it. It was on the internet and nobody
Yeah.
cared. But yeah, when they made this, they had to change the names and stuff.
Okay. Jerry deserves a lot better than he gets on that show. Look, I'm not excusing the fact that he diminishes his wife's profession, which is bullshit, because being a horse surgeon is fucking impressive.
Yeah.
Other than that, he deserves a lot better in this show. He gets treated like fucking shit.
Yeah.
So does Beth.
You're a Jerry defender.
I think I'm a everybody but Rick defender. When Rick's great,
Yeah.
don't get me wrong.
Yeah, I mean he's an asshole.
That's the whole point. I get it. But Jerry deserves a lot better than he gets.
It's so funny though.
It is really funny.
Sometimes they're really mean and like, oh man, you do kind of feel for him.
Yeah.
But then one of the seasons, he's like kind of a dick the whole time. And you're like, okay, fuck you, Jerry. Like he kind of
Isn't that the season where they're in the middle of their
season 2 or
separation?
season 3 or something. One of those. It's in the first half.
Yeah.
Where he's like kind of a dick.
Yeah.
And you're like, huh.
I don't like when he horse surgeon. Like he really diminishes her
Yeah.
profession because it's like,
Yeah.
hey, that's still fucking. Can you do it, Jer?
Get a job,
All
Jerry.
right.
I love that one when every time he says anything, there's
Get
like,
a job,
get
Jerry.
a job, Jerry.
Okay. Point number 4. I myself need a Mr. Meeseeks.
That's a good one.
Love
Yeah.
it. I need it.
Yep. Everybody wants a Meeseeks.
Mr. Poopy Butthole. That's it.
Just iconic character.
Okay.
He's like a top 5er for me.
For sure. But like when he first was introduced, I'm like, huh?
That's so funny because the way they set it up, it's like, of course, that's like a made up character part of this episode. We've never seen this guy before.
They just
he just
introduce
suddenly shows up, but he's just like part of the
They
family.
introduce him like we're just supposed to know who he is. Like he's just a normal recurring character.
And that's the part that's what's so funny at the end, because you think all of these other characters are like weird, wacky characters we've never seen before, and they all turned out to be aliens. And then there's also Mr. Poopy Butthole. It's like, oh, they missed one. Obviously, he's one too, right? And nope, he's just a real dude
with a family,
with a backstory and everything. And I love that he becomes like the post-credit guy.
Yeah.
He's just like the permanent post-credit guy for the next like 4 seasons.
Pickle Rick lived up to the hype.
Yep.
I mean, you said it. One of the best episodes. Yeah.
Yep.
Fantastic.
It's great. Like Jaguar, is that what his name is?
Something like that.
Jaguar.
Fucking kills a rat and uses his bones to create an anatomy for a pickle.
He uses his tongue to poke around in his brain to make the arms move.
Yeah.
It's gross, but it's awesome.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Not today, but maybe down the line. You mentioned, our last episode we brought up Turkey Rick was in the Battle Royal. I think we might down the road have to reevaluate the Battle Royal because I think Turkey Rick would be much better in the match now that I'm fully aware of his capabilities.
Yeah, I knew you didn't know anything about him, so I didn't want to like hash all that out during the Battle
Which is
Royal.
fine. Yeah. No, so we might we'll do an episode where we reevaluate.
Yeah, because he's like fully, and he's got Rick's intelligence, but he's just in a turkey body. Yeah. So I definitely think he would have been able to take out like Tom Turkey or something.
It's a feeding frenzy. Okay.
Turkey Lurkey. I think he probably could have outmaneuvered that guy.
Okay. 2 more kind of specific points. They really hit the mark with mental health awareness.
Yeah,
I mean,
pretty solid for an irreverent comedy like an Adult Swim show.
Yeah. And
Susan Sarandon plays the therapist.
The therapist, yeah.
Susan Sarandon is in Rick and Morty as a recurring character.
I'm better than this job. Just so calm. All right, my last point. I did notice the voice change in season 8.
Yeah,
and then I looked it up. And I was like, oh, Justin Roiland. Yikes, bro.
Yeah, rough.
Yikes.
Yeah.
And props to the new guy doing it because it's not really off.
Yeah, it's 2 guys now. They got a different guy for Rick and Morty. It's hard to tell.
It's hard to tell.
Yeah,
I almost wish I didn't look it up because now I notice it more.
Yeah, I mean, you can definitely tell the difference, but it's not super noticeable.
Fantastic show. I wish I would have started it sooner. Thank you. Thank you for finally getting on my ass about it.
Yeah. So this is kind of related. While we're on the topic of pickles, you're a picky eater.
Very much so.
I'm a picky eater. Not quite as bad. We've both gotten a little better.
I've gotten a little bit better. I've tried more things than I would have 5 years ago.
Yeah. And you're actually like interested in trying some stuff.
Correct.
Which is kind of how I am. I don't really go out of my way to try new things. Mm-hmm. But if somebody wants me to, and I'm like, okay, fine. And then sometimes I like it. And that's how I am with a lot of vegetables. When we were growing up, we didn't do a lot of vegetables. I mean, we had vegetables like with dinner. It was like the classic rotation of
green beans and peas. Yeah.
Beans, peas. Occasionally we'd have like a medley.
Yeah.
And then I always wanted carrots because that was like my favorite. I liked green beans too, but it was green beans, carrots. That was about the only things I would eat. I've expanded since then.
See, I don't really I like most of these vegetables uncooked.
You don't like them cooked? That's interesting because a lot of the ones I'm thinking are
obviously
a handful of the ones that
obviously green beans and whatever, yeah, those. But like carrots, I prefer them.
Yeah, well, carrots is carrots is the opposite for me.
Yeah, like broccoli. I actually.
You like raw broccoli?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, you do like the ranch?
Yeah.
Well,
not all the time.
You just like pop a whole freaking cold broccoli in your mouth.
I mean, it's not my first choice, but like if it's there, I'll eat it.
I'm not a fan of the cold broccoli. You got to have it cooked, steamed. Is the way I like it.
I've actually I take that back though.
I have salt, pepper,
I have had it with a
little lemon,
like cheddar broccoli soup.
Yeah, the cheese. Yeah, I got to get the cheese in there. It's good. So, just to clarify, I guess, how we want to do this, since we're doing vegetables, and our palates have developed a little bit since we were young. I was thinking, like, you're teaching a kid what a vegetable is, like a young grade schooler.
I know where you're getting at, because that's kind of how I went.
Because like corn is not a vegetable technically, but it's a vegetable. Like we can all agree that corn is a vegetable.
It's a vegetable, and I don't think it's going to be on either one of our lists, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, or like a tomato. Come on, we're not going to just exclude it because it's technically a fruit. Like, fuck off. Like we're doing grade school definitions, and also kindergarten palates is the way I want to do it.
I'm glad you brought this up.
We want to go like old timey, like classic cliche nasty vegetables, and we're going to get our little bias in there too, but. That's the way I wanted it to go, not necessarily like current tastes. Like you ask like a 5-year-old what vegetables are. If he says it's a vegetable, then that's what we're going with.
Okay.
And then like if he also thinks it's ucky, then like that's same thing. We're going by their definition.
Ucky.
So any qualms with that? Any arguments there?
We simpled it down. Yeah, it's
we kind of talked about this earlier, but my initial thought when I was making this list was maybe do 3 inductees or 4 inductees instead of 5. But then I started naming more, and I was like, well, maybe we could just do 5.
I think 5.
You think I have enough to do 5?
Yeah, because I have a lot that suck.
Okay. Yeah, and I don't know. I kind of have a feeling with this one. Usually when I say this, it's not the case.
Right.
But I feel like we might have some pretty wide differences on this one.
I think you're right.
You want to hit me with your nominees?
All right. First off the list, we got mushrooms.
I didn't even think of that one. See, that one's different because it's like a different it's a different kingdom, I think. It's like not even a plant.
I don't care.
Okay.
I looked at several different websites, and they all had mushrooms as a vegetable, so I'm just going with that.
That's fine.
We're going to count it.
Like again, culinary wise, I think we use it it's used as a vegetable.
Oh, we'll get into it.
You slice it up and put it on a pizza.
I almost did the thing again.
Yeah, okay.
Brussels sprouts.
Yep.
I'm just grouping it all into one. Peppers.
Oh, okay.
Fuck all the way off. Cabbage.
That never even crossed my mind. That's a good one.
We grew up on these, but peas.
Yeah, fuck them. I'm not even gonna let you go. That's already in.
Cauliflower.
Yeah.
Squash.
That's a pretty good one. Not on my list, but
I think you know my last one.
Yeah, that's the reason. It was my segue to get into it.
Those goddamn pickles. I'm telling you what, when I'm elected president,
Yeah.
I don't know how many executive orders I've already signed on this podcast.
I think one of them was already pickles. Didn't you already have one
Well,
on here?
I will sign a second executive order making sure pickles never...
Just in case you didn't hear the first one.
Yes.
Second executive order. Destroy all the pickles.
Ya banned.
Find a giant pit, a sinkhole, perhaps.
I apologize to all my bar goers. You're going to have to find another way to sober up. There's no reason I need to pull out a 8-inch, 4-inch by 4-inch thick pickle out of this nasty ass jar and put it in a cup that's halfway.
It's like that's a chode pickle.
That's half its size.
A 4-inch pickle? Man, oh man.
While you nibble on what 4 little sections of it, and then you leave it on the bar for me to clean up.
Yeah, never sober enough to finish the gigantic pickle. They need to get some gherkins going. The little guys, the little dudes. That's perfect drunk pickle. Because it's like 3 bites and you're done.
Or just
you don't have to sit there and hold this giant fucking thing and nibble on it for half an hour.
Or just drink water.
yeah, get some Gatorade on the way home.
Yeah. So those are mine.
Okay. A lot of them in common. I had tomatoes. Did you mention broccoli? I put broccoli on here.
I did not.
Asparagus and celery.
Interesting. Okay. Celery?
Yeah.
Repulsive?
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
We'll get there.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's our nominees. Like I said, more in common than I thought. But, actually, no, I think there was only 2 in common. So that's pretty good. We'll have a healthy debate.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll be back in a couple of seconds here. I feel like we usually just start with you. You want to just hit me?
Yeah.
Hit me with your
My
on-mens. I always want to try to shorten that, and it never sounds right.
My HMs.
Yeah, your HMs.
So, for my first one, I'm going to throw out spinach. Just always looks disgusting.
Yeah, that one's on mine, too. Especially canned spinach.
Yeah.
Ugh, it's gross. Like, Popeye helps the brand a little bit.
When I see canned spinach, I was like, I'd rather eat the canned dog food that Doc Brown gives his dog in Back to the Future.
Yeah, it'd probably be tastier. That shit looks so slimy and gross.
It looks so salty for some reason. I don't know why.
It does.
My second one, I got lima beans. I don't know what is about them. I think it might be.
That's a good one.
I think it might be a rice situation with our grandfather. You know how rice just instantly makes him cringe?
Makes him queasy.
That's just kind of how those things are.
They do look kind of gross.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a weird green.
Now,
they look just kind of nasty. That is a good one. I almost kind of want to bump that up to nominee status, just because that's like a classic cliche. I didn't even think about lima beans.
Yeah. Now I've never eaten this. I don't even know what you put it in. I mean, I looked it up. You put it in like gumbo, but okra.
Yeah.
It's not. I've heard of it, but if I don't really know it, I looked it up, and it's like if my first thought is like ew, then I'm gonna nominate.
It does look weird. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know that I've ever had it myself. It's a big Southern thing.
Artichoke.
Yeah.
Not a big artichoke.
You don't like
nope.
spinach artichoke dip?
Nope.
No. Well, you don't like the spinach either.
I
I don't know why that dip's good. I think it's everything else that's in it. Spinach and artichoke are like fluff. They're just part of it.
Fluff.
Yeah.
I have cucumbers.
Yeah, that was on my list too.
All those things are pickle prequels. And
prequel. That's good. That's a good one.
I have beets. Because and the weird reason is because every time I've seen them on The Office, they just always looked really gross. And maybe that's just the way Dwight made them, but they just never looked good. Like when Dwight would eat his beet salad, I'm like, that looks so disgusting.
It looks terrible.
Yeah.
The ones he eats in the salad, I think those are pickled beets, which, it's pickled for one, which just seems gross to me. The only thing you should be pickling is pickle. And even then, I'm like...
Even then you shouldn't do that.
Yeah. Well, that's you. But I'm not a huge pickle fan. I like the juice. I like the pickle juice. It's great. Yum. Just guzzle it. Guzzle it down. A little vitamin C.
God, disgusting.
Pickle prequel. I love that one. That's hilarious. I had some notes on the cucumbers. They're pretty useful as not a food, so that's a bonus. Like you put them on the eyeballs.
True. I've actually had cucumber water, which is pretty good.
See, I cannot stand cucumber water. It's gross to me because it's one of those things. It's you just get a tiny little bit of flavor to it, and that is worse than anything to me. I hate that. Like lemon, like you go to a restaurant and they say you want lemon with your water. No, I don't want like half a tiny little wedge of lemon so I can get 4 drops of lemon juice in my water. That is disgusting to me.
See, I'm the opposite.
Give me lemonade or give me water. Don't give me this in-between bullshit where you got just a hint of something that tastes terrible to me.
I like that slight hint of flavor.
Gross. It just tastes like extremely watered down lemonade. It's horrible. Same thing with the cucumber. I'd rather just suck the juice out of a cucumber than drink fucking cucumber water. It's gross to me. Like, give me all or nothing. None of this in-between bullshit. Also, keep those things out of my salad.
Yeah, well, yeah, agreed. 100% agreed.
It's like almost sweet, this cucumber. Salad should probably be savory or like fruity or something.
Yeah.
No. Don't get the cucumbers. The textures don't match. No. You ever have the cucumber Gatorade?
Yeah.
It's like lime cucumber.
No.
It should be classified as domestic terrorism. It's the worst.
That's even too nice.
It looks like it would taste good. You see the bottle, it's like, ooh, that's pretty good. It's probably like some kind of green apple or something green. You see green on a bottle that's going to be fruity. You think it's going to be good, and then you take a drink. Oh, it's one of the worst things. It's a crime.
That just sounds like something some CrossFit trainer would drink and be like, if you're not drinking this, you're not living to your full potential.
Yeah. I don't know who they were marketing that to,
Stupid.
but it's bad.
All right, moving on. I have kale, which I feel like is just kind of like fancy spinach.
Yeah. It really is.
I have radishes.
You ever have a radish?
Yeah, I'm just not a fan.
They're fine.
They're
just like kind of a weird carrot.
They're just there. they just like exist for some reason.
Like a carrot with like a little extra flavor to them.
A zucchini.
Zucchinis.
I don't like zucchini bread.
You don't?
Nope.
Really?
I do not.
What is it about it?
Zucchini
bread to me is like, I don't know, it's like off-brand banana bread. It's like, it's not quite as sweet, but it's still pretty good.
I kind of feel like it's my version of your lemon water. I don't know, just something is off about it, and I don't like it.
Is it because somebody told you there was zucchini in it? And you're like, vegetables and bread? No.
Well, maybe when I was younger, when I hear a weird word, I'm like, gross.
Ucky.
Yeah. Circle back. I don't know, when I had it like a year or so ago, I tried it again because I was like, you know what, I'm older, I might as well try it again. And it's just still not my thing. I have asparagus, but here's the thing. I actually like asparagus if it's cooked right.
That's the thing. That's why I had it on my list. I think I've had it like one time where it was cooked well enough that I'm like, this is pretty good.
I've had it twice. One, it was cooked bad. One, it was cooked really good. Can you guess which one I liked more? If it's cooked,
You've only had it twice in your life?
Yeah, because again...
Oh, you're just afraid it's going to be bad.
Well, no. Like, growing up, it's like, you think asparagus, and I'm like, ew, gross.
Yeah.
But it's just recently I was like, yeah, I'll try it.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. The first time I had it, it was really good because they grilled it. They grilled it properly. Yeah. They seasoned it right, and it was awesome.
Was that Dad?
No. Maybe.
He was the first one that cooked it well for me. That was the first time because I was like, I've had it a few times. It's pretty gross.
Oh, you know what? It was that, but that was the second time I had it then. The first time I had it was with somebody I was dating at the time.
Yeah.
And she didn't make it very well.
Yeah. It's kind of a hard thing to cook.
It is. And
you got to do it well.
And it was nothing against her or anything. It just, I was like, not for me. And then
it's too planty if you don't do it right.
Well,
and that's my problem. Like, I don't want to be reminded that I'm eating like something that fucking came from dirt.
And the top part, if you can you got to get past like the prickly, like leafy parts at the top.
See, those I think are actually good. That's the best part.
No, they are. But I'm saying like Our biggest
like
thing is
texture thing.
we hate landmines in our food.
Yeah.
That's textbook right there. Even though you see it, you don't. For some reason, it's like stickly or like prickly.
Yeah. Well, yeah. To me, that's actually it's better because it's thinner up there, so it usually cooks through better. The landmine for me is when you're eating the base of it, I guess.
Yeah.
And it's a little thicker and hasn't gotten cooked all the way through, and it's still basically like a freaking you're biting through a twig at the end. Like that's fucking gross to me. When I suddenly am reminded that this thing was in the ground like 4 days ago. It's had a manure spread on it a couple of times. That's when I'm like, okay, this is gross. Just want to cut those butts off. Just give me the leaves.
My last honorable mention is an eggplant.
Yeah.
I think the only good use for an eggplant is as an emoji.
Yeah, that's good. I have no idea what an eggplant tastes like. Have you ever seen like somebody actually use eggplant?
Don't they put it on salads? Like they'll dice it up like kind of like carrots, you know? They'll put it on salad.
Is that eggplant or is that like red cabbage or whatever?
It usually is. It's usually that, but I've seen it when you get like a fancy salad or whatever. But
yeah, I don't know that I've ever actually seen it used in anything. I don't know anybody that is like, yeah, eggplant. Let's put a couple of those on the grill or something. Let me dice some of these up. I don't know anybody that's into eggplant.
I don't know a single person that's ever eaten it.
Yeah, not a common one in any of my households that I've ever been part of. So yeah, a lot of common ones for us. One I'm kind of surprised you didn't throw in there, sweet potatoes.
I don't think they're repulsive.
Yeah,
I don't think they.
I don't know. I feel like a lot of people just don't like them. I'm not a big fan. I used to like them. I don't really care for them anymore. It's weird.
It's one of those things I see.
Most vegetables, I went the other way. Sweet potatoes, I went back.
But here's the thing: when they're served, every time I'm like, maybe this will be the time I try it.
And then you just nope.
And then I just stick.
The bowl gets passed to you, and you're like, moving on.
Maybe next time. Yeah. No, I just stick to the status quo.
Yeah. Get the favorites.
Yeah.
All those browns.
And it's not really because I think it's repulsive. I think I'm just afraid to try something new.
Yeah, you just don't want to try it. Yeah. The thing with sweet potatoes is you gotta add sweetness to them. They gotta be like brown sugar, like marshmallows on them.
Yeah.
It's gotta be basically a dessert before it's good. Sweet potato pie, not bad. Again, it's gotta be a dessert for it to be tolerable. I also had spinach, specifically canned spinach. I said cooked carrots. I like carrots. I also like cooked carrots, but I think a lot of people despise cooked carrots. Did you ever eat them in school? Like the school lunch, glazed carrots?
I can't remember a single school-made meal that I actually enjoyed.
Turkey tetrazzini. That was the best one in high school. The pizza was pretty good.
I guess for frozen pizza, but
yeah, I mean, like for a shitty school lunch, yeah, it's solid. The tacos are pretty good.
That was what was so nice about open lunch. Just go to AJ's every day.
Yeah, let's go get some
No wonder
pizza.
I always wanted you guys to order it growing up.
I keep mentioning can of corn. I said can of corn like 4 times. Did you get what the can of corn thing was at the beginning?
I did not.
Yeah, I was trying to decide between 2 things. I told you one was kind of an obscure reference that you probably wouldn't get, but for some reason that line lives in my brain. It's from The Longest Yard. Adam Sandler. The one guy gets like wrecked and they're carting him off the field and he's like, can of corn, I'll be fine, can of corn.
I
don't know why. I don't know why that just like sticks in my brain. It's not really that funny. Like every time like in baseball, every time the announcer says, can of corn in center field, I always think, yep, can of corn, I'll be fine, can of corn. So I knew you were going to put pickles in.
Yeah.
I listed it as an honorable mention anyway. The first note I have is just let Bran cook. I just knew we were going to get into an hour-long conversation.
Any vegetable that looks like they have pimples on it is fucking disgusting. It has warts. It smells like ass. It tastes...
Does your ass smell pickly? You might have a different problem.
I'm just in general ass.
Okay.
Just the general average ass.
Not an ass. Ass, not an ass. Okay, I got you. Okay.
They sound disgusting when you're eating them.
The big ones, yeah.
They smell disgusting when you're eating them.
Some people like that smell.
Repulsive is too kind of a word for whatever these things are. These things, these aren't real. And I'm frustrated.
Yeah, you can't find the words anymore.
I'm frustrated
You're so mad.
that so many people like these things.
Yeah.
And
that's why I have a hard time putting it on the list.
And I'm frustrated that people like to troll me about it.
Yeah.
Which is fine. I can take it.
Yeah. It's because you put so much force behind your hatred.
I know.
It's like,
I'm passionate about how fucking worthless these things are. And people use that against me.
Yeah.
Like our father.
Yeah.
Eating that thing 3 inches from my eardrum. And staring at me.
Yeah.
Staring into my soul while doing it.
Specifically just to mess with you.
Just to fuck with my head. Borderline unforgivable. If he wasn't my dad, I don't know if I'd ever talk to him again.
Yeah. So it's like the pickliness of it, right?
I think it's just the perfect storm of garbage.
I'm asking a specific question, though.
I'm giving you a broad answer.
Have you had other pickled vegetables? Like, have you ever had a pickled beet?
No, because literally...
Well, that's what I'm asking. Like, is it the smell of the actual pickled part of it?
Yes.
Is a big part of it? Okay.
I know I'm being dramatic here. I get it. And that's fine. Even just hearing the word pickle makes my skin crawl. This is a very hard conversation to have with how much we're talking about pickles because, like, I have goosebumps. And that's fucking weird. A vegetable shouldn't do that to a human being.
I don't think a vegetable should be its own verb. That is kind of a weird thing.
It's basically the grossest, worst kind of Pokemon. Because you got a cucumber, this nice, delicate-looking, smooth cucumber.
That you also put on your honorable mentions list as disgusting.
It's kind of not terrible, but kind of not great either. And then you sit it in a jar full of bullshit. And then it grows bumps on it. And you turn it into this fucking disgusting monster.
What about the sweet ones? That's got a different smell. It's got a different everything. The textures?
Is it preceded or followed by the word pickle?
What if you just call them gherkins?
Answer my question.
What if you call them sweet gherkins? Usually they don't.
But see, I know that's a pickle though. That's the thing.
Well, you just said it's not. It's followed by pickle.
But that's not the only.
And the flavor's different on a sweet one.
That's not the only contributing factor though.
Okay, so that's what I'm asking.
But I'm saying that's how
you change the flavor. The texture's still there. Well, actually a gherkin is usually snappy. It's like biting into a carrot almost. It's like it's got a little pop to it. It's a little stiffer. That's what I like, the gherkins. I'm not a big fan of the big fat pickles because I don't like the mush. It's like too wet. Too sloppy. It's like biting into like a really nasty pear.
One time I'd made the mistake of not checking my burger and it had pickles on it, and I wanted to drive off the road.
See, I like the flavor of pickles. I don't so much like the texture. I'm with you there. The texture is pretty gross. Like that, it's that wet crunch, kind of like finding an onion in something that you're not expecting onions in, and you get that weird wet crunch. Blech. That like squelch between your teeth. It's gross. Let's get off this before you hurl. So we just kind of naturally moved into our nominees.
Ugh.
But I mentioned earlier, I kind of tipped the hand that peas.
Yeah.
They're a no doubter for me. Like, I'm not even going to field any questions on that one.
They're just mushy Dippin' Dots.
I thought of Dippin' Dots today, too. I was going to say they're like baby puke boba. They're just terrible. Like, to this day, I will not eat them.
Oh, my God.
I will pick them out of foods. If I find them in a dish, I will pull those fuckers out. I'm usually not that way with pretty much anything else. Like, I used to not really like carrots and stuff. I used to not like onions if I found them, or like even like a big tomato hunk. Yeah. I still don't really like those, but I'll leave them in for the most part. Peas, if I even see those even touching my food, nope. I am getting a pile and I'm sitting them on a napkin and I will just have a pile of peas sitting next to me
I
for the
swear to
rest
God,
of the meal.
if you make me a shepherd's pie and you try to sneak those peas in there,
Yeah. We're gonna. I'm throwing hands.
we'll fight. I went through my deep freezer the other day or yesterday, right? You know, I was throwing stuff away that was sitting in there since 2017.
Naturally.
And there was,
I mean, it is a deep freezer.
I had like 4 bags of frozen peas, and I'm like, get these.
What
things.
the fuck? Why are these in here? Are you just using them as like an ice pack?
I didn't buy them, and I was like, no, we're getting these gone.
That's the only
Out.
good use for a bag of frozen peas, is just to use them as, like, you got to ice your knee after a long day.
Has anybody ever used that as an ice pack?
I have, yeah. I learned that from, actually it was for poison ivy. I knew somebody that had poison ivy, or like a bunch of mosquito bites or something, and I learned that from Big Daddy. You remember that?
Yeah.
In the store, she puts the bag of frozen whatever on his hand, and yeah, so I learned that. I had a friend that had, I don't know, either poison ivy or like mosquito bites or something. Like, yeah, put a bag of peas on it, and it helped. Like, yeah, thank you, Big Daddy. But that's the only good use for a bag of peas.
I've never seen a real human actually use that for like an ice pack. I've always just seen them like go grab an ice pack.
Yeah. You ever see somebody use the steak on like a shiner?
No.
No, only in the movies. Only in
the pictures.
Is that they do that in a Christmas Story? It seems like a Christmas Story thing.
Man,
maybe no. I don't know.
You know, it's funny. I've seen it.
Well, they use it in the Sandlot. He puts it on after
Yeah.
after the stepdad hits him with the baseball, like pelts him right in the face.
I've seen the Christmas Story a million times because it's on
Yeah.
nonstop during Christmas.
I don't think I've single time watched it start to finish.
I did only because we watched it in middle school.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But like all the times I watch it, I don't know anything from that movie other than maybe the famous scenes.
That's the thing I don't like about that movie, is that it's literally just, there's like barely a plot to it. It's just a bunch of little vignettes of little things. Yeah. There's like the tongue on the pole scene, and there's you'll shoot your eye at thing. The thing where with the car where he's changing a tire and the fudge, and then he's got the soap in the mouth.
The very racist end at the Asian restaurant.
Yeah, that whole thing. It's just like a bunch of little like baby stories all mashed into one, which is like, okay, that's fine, but like I don't understand why people love this thing so much. There's no story. What's the story? He gets a BB gun at the end. Like that's the only through line throughout the whole thing.
Well, yeah, it's just
it's frustrating. Anyway, what else we got here? So, do you agree with me? No doubt or peas?
Oh yeah,
not even going to question.
100%. Yeah,
okay, just gross. Texture 0 out of 10. Flavor 0 out of 10. Get out of here. Just like there's no redeeming qualities. Brussels sprouts.
Yes.
That one's just a classic.
Yeah.
It's just a classic hated vegetable.
Yeah.
Everybody just knows that Brussels sprouts are gross.
Yeah.
I've tried those recently. Not too bad. Again, it's kind of like the asparagus. If you cook it right, it's pretty good. That's kind of the case with a lot of these. Broccoli, same thing.
Admittedly, I've never had a Brussels sprout, but it's one of those things where I just looked it up. I'm like, ucky. You know, I was like, that doesn't look good. So I'm going to add it to the list. But for me, I'm throwing in cabbage and or peppers. You like peppers, right?
No, I hate peppers.
Oh, good. I'm throwing out cabbage.
The thing with peppers is that they're like universally loved.
Oh.
Maybe not universally. They're very commonly loved. A lot of people love peppers.
Well,
and I couldn't narrow it down to a specific one.
I wish I could include these as one whole thing, but I'm throwing out cabbage and peppers, mainly because the place we used to work at, they would always make, every Wednesday or whatever, would make these stuffed
peppers. It was like a specialty of one of the cooks.
And they stuffed it with cabbage, right?
No, there was a cabbage roll, which was separate, which was another day that always was terrible.
Yeah, the smell.
Yeah, there was a cabbage roll.
God.
And stuff. I don't know what they stuff it with, but it was the biggest part was the pepper itself, the cooked pepper. Ugh. Yeah, I hate the smell.
Disgusting.
Of peppers.
Yes.
Like if it's like a strong pepper, like bell peppers is specifically what we're talking about. The other peppers I can usually tolerate. They got some other flavor to them. Bell peppers, there's just something about that smell that just drives me nuts.
Like
I don't think they're all that like disgusting to look at. I feel like the texture's probably okay.
it's more of a smell thing for me. That's what,
The smell drives me nuts.
that's what grosses
It's
me
gross
out.
to me. Yeah. I see that one's hard for me to put in because I feel like they are like extremely popular, and I'm not like all that disgusted by them. I used to be they used to be similar to pickles for me. They were like the bane of my existence. I've kind of warmed up a little bit to them, but yeah.
For me, it's just, especially when people put banana peppers on their pizza. It's
Oh
like,
yeah, the banana. I can't get behind the banana.
I'll
peppers.
see those things on. I'm like, I'm not even picking them off. I don't even want that aroma.
Yeah, no,
I don't even
that's
want-
one. The residue, the flavor residue
Yes.
left behind.
Yes.
Ugh, that's rough.
That's what always drives me fucking crazy. I'm sorry, we're going back to it. When I ask for no pickle, don't throw it on the side. Those things leak.
Yeah,
And
especially a pickle.
And then all of it gets underneath.
It's so juicy.
And then all the
It
juice
sags up your fries.
gets all underneath my fries. So
or,
now
or, or the bun. That's
Yeah.
even worse
So
because you
now-
got to hold that thing.
So now I'm eating fucking pickled fries, and I want to die.
Yeah. Like nobody wants wet fries to begin with. Why are we putting a pickle spear? You cut open the wet thing and shove it in there with a bunch of dry stuff. That one drives me nuts. I hate that. Why are you putting an open pickle spear? Everybody knows they're fucking wet. That's like the whole point of a pickle is that it's juicy. Why are you throwing it in here with a bunch of dry stuff?
Yeah.
Ugh. And especially, like you said, no pickles. Okay, here's a big fat fucking spear right next to everything.
And then I have to act like I'm not like a big baby about it, and I'm just
Yeah.
like, okay, I'll put it
Yeah.
over here and just suck it up.
Yeah, I guess I got to deal with all my soggy pickle fries now. And like half a bun that's just soaked. Anyway, we talked about Brussels sprouts.
I'm gonna throw out squash.
Okay.
I
You said that I didn't think of it earlier, but I'm okay with it.
years ago, I tried squash spaghetti or spaghetti squash. Yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously, I knew it wasn't actual spaghetti,
Yeah.
and I wasn't preparing for pasta.
Mm.
And I knew I was preparing myself for the
A
texture and
vegetable
everything
with
different,
sauce on it.
and it's healthier, And
Yeah.
okay, I'm open to it. I took one crunchy bite, and I'm like, I'm gonna blow up the house.
Yeah. That's another one I feel like you gotta do it right. And people that do it don't usually have enough experience to do it right.
I think it was done right, honestly.
Yeah. Because, see, I've had it and it's not bad.
It looked good. Like,
Yeah.
that's the thing. It didn't look bad. I'm like, oh, this actually looks tasty. Like, it looks really good. And it was just not.
Yeah.
And it
'Cause,
was
like,
no fault to anybody. It was just, I just
Yeah.
didn't like
You
it.
think you got in your head a little bit on that one? See, because I've tried it before, and like I'm not gonna go out of my way to have spaghetti squash again, but it wasn't bad.
I don't know. Maybe it's one of those things where, your first experience was so bad you don't ever want it again because
Yeah.
the thought of squash, it's not pickle level, but it's
Yeah.
like I have no desire to ever want to eat a squash
Yeah.
again.
I don't know.
I'm gonna throw out also cauliflower.
Okay, I wasn't as heated about this one, but I did have it as an honorable mention.
I've tried it both raw and cooked, and it's just not good. When I look at it and I see all the different ways you can use it, each time I'm just like, that just looks gross. Like, that doesn't look.
To me, it's like inoffensive at best.
I don't know.
I don't know. I feel like it's not like
Maybe I'm just.
It's not like gross. It's not good.
Maybe
I don't enjoy it ever. I would never like ask for it ever.
Maybe.
Like, and if it was included in something, like I still wouldn't really want it.
Maybe I'm just being prejudiced because it's basically just albino broccoli.
Yeah. Have you ever had it basically like you do that instead of mashed potatoes?
I've heard of that. No, I will never do that. Mashed potatoes are sacred to me.
Yeah. It's not great.
I just feel like
it was tolerable. It's one of those things like you can't say this is a substitute for mashed potatoes. It's almost like grits. It's more like that.
Yeah.
You ever have grits?
Yeah.
It's similar to that. It's more like that kind of texture where it's like a little more grainy because
Yeah.
you can't like mash it up as well as potatoes. I've had like cauliflower pizza, which isn't like, I mean, it's not great, but it's like a healthier pizza crust. Cauliflower by itself is just like, it's never good, but it's like tolerable, I guess. I'm never gonna run to it. I'm never gonna go out of my way for it. But I don't think it's all that disgusting.
I'm gonna make another argument against cabbage.
Okay.
Sauerkraut is cabbage, right? It has cabbage in it.
I think it's like pickled cabbage.
Do you eat sauerkraut? I don't remember.
Sauerkraut's gross to me.
Right. Sauerkraut, cabbage. I think that immediately, bam.
Yeah. Sauerkraut, finely cut raw cabbage that has been fermented.
Right.
Yeah. Basically, it's pickled cabbage.
Yeah. And it's the
even
smell.
cabbage even like raw cabbage is not great.
I'm thinking because of that reason.
Because of the sauerkraut.
Because of the sauerkraut,
Yeah.
that sets it right. That puts it right into induction level.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Repulsiveness.
That's pretty good. Oh, you're already saying it's inducted, you think?
No, I changed it. I put probably.
Even like you're even stronger with cabbage than any of the other ones you just mentioned?
Yes.
Really? Okay.
Sauerkraut is like just below pickles on disgusting level for me.
Well, I mean, it's pickled cabbage, so that makes sense.
Right.
Anyway, let's move on a little bit. I got some more sure things.
Okay.
I feel like I'm gonna get this next one is gonna get thrown at me because of this take. But tomatoes, I just like.
Yep.
No,
You
like
don't-
I know I don't have to convince
You
you
don't even
because
have
you're
to
on the
argue
same
with me.
page, but I have to convince the masses. Tomatoes are fucking terrible by themselves. They have the problem with that. The problem with putting them in is because they have so many other uses outside of just eating a tomato. Like more than some of these other ones. Like you can put it in a sauce. You can put it in like ketchup is good. You always have those arguments like, oh, you like tomato sauce, but you don't like tomatoes. Like they taste nothing alike. Stop with that. If I bit into a tomato and it tasted like a fucking pizza, I'd be eating them all the time. It does not.
And the texture's different.
The texture's different. Like I was thinking, you ever you're not a Friends fan, but did you know that there was a show called Joey? It was a spinoff.
Yeah, it was a spinoff. Yeah, I remember that.
And it lasted like 2 episodes or something. It was terrible.
Bad.
Everybody hated it. That's kind of like what tomatoes are. They're kind of like Joey. As an ensemble, fantastic. Like people loved Friends. It was a phenomenon. And people loved Joey. He's like one of the like all-time characters in TV. By himself, just fucking awful. You tell me you're just eating a slice of tomato or just these like insane people that need to be committed that will eat a tomato like it's an apple. No, you should be separated from society and shipped off somewhere on like a garbage planet. These people don't belong.
What a comparison. That is an A+ comparison, Ty. A+.
Yeah, it's like ketchup.
Sorry, hold on.
I get an applause.
Very good. That's impressive.
Ketchup, great. Tomato sauce, pizza sauce, whatever you want to put it on. Chili, I love tomatoes in a chili. It's great. You got all those other seasonings helping it out. I added
if you
an
got to
extra
mix
syllable.
with other things, I think that's an argument against it.
That's what I'm saying
Yeah.
though. Like it needs
Right.
an ensemble.
Yeah.
I don't think Matt LeBlanc was winning any Emmys.
No.
Like there was a reason all of them were making $1 million an episode.
Yeah.
You can take the friend out of Joey, but you can't take... No, that doesn't work. Solo tomato, terrible.
Yeah.
But it's loved by many, so it's hard to say. A lot of people love tomatoes, but it's like a personal enemy of mine. So, like, I don't know. Maybe I'm a biased. Whatever. Did we talk about asparagus? I think we did a little bit.
A little bit.
That's another one. You got to be cooked well. Did you specifically talk about what you used to do? Or what we used to do, the reason you don't like the stuffed peppers and the cabbage rolls? Both of us used to work for the same company where we would deliver
Meals on Wheels.
It was Meals on Wheels. We would deliver hot meals. And we had like the hot shot in the back of the truck. And that would keep all the meals hot. And there were just certain days you go back there and you open that thing and it just hits you like a fucking brick right in the nose. And you just want to hurl immediately, but you got to deliver this meal to some old lady. And the canned asparagus, those gigantic industrial cans of asparagus, and they don't even look like a vegetable anymore.
No.
They look like somebody made them out of Play-Doh and threw some fucking asparagus juice on them and dumped them into a can. They look terrible. They smell worse. Like you know what the asparagus pea smells like. You know what the asparagus kind of smells like if you don't really do it right. It's got a pungent smell. Multiply it by like 1,000 because it's been crammed into a can and vacuum sealed for who knows how fucking long. And then plop it out and it's hot and there's like a bunch of them and they're all crammed into this hot box. And you just open that door and it just fucking smacks you across the face. It's the worst. And that's part of the reason I was so against asparagus for most of my life.
Again, you gotta grill it or cook it right. It needs to be. It needs to have.
It's got to be cooked all the way through. A little bit of crisp on the outside.
I was just gonna say a little bit of crunch to it, just a little bit.
Yeah,
you don't want it
not crunch, crisp.
Okay, yeah,
because the crunch, you get that crunch in the inside, and then I want to die.
Right, that's what. You want a little bit of crisp.
Yeah.
You don't want it soggy. You don't want it overcooked.
Yeah,
and it's hard. It's hard to cook that.
Yeah, you got to strike that balance because they're thin on the ends. I've tried to cook it myself, and it's terrible. Yeah. I suck at it.
Yeah. I think seasoning it right and grilling it is the way to go. Because I think you get...
Grilling, it's pretty good.
Trying to do it in the oven, it's like you can't get the bottom cooked because you got to have it on a pan.
Yeah. Similar situation with the broccoli. Broccoli is like another one. It's like a classic like cartoon kid, like everybody hates broccoli situation. Yeah. Like that's why I don't think I tried broccoli till I was like 9 because like broccoli gross. All the cartoons hate it. Obviously it's disgusting, right? And then I tried it once and I didn't like it, but I had tried it raw. I just took a bite out of like the floury part. It was not good.
See, I don't mind it. I mean, I'm not.
Yeah, I'm surprised by that you like it. You prefer it raw to cooked.
So if there's a veggie tray, obviously it's not my first choice. Like I'm going towards celery, which is another one of yours, which is mind-boggling to me, honestly. But I'm going towards celery or carrots first.
Yeah.
But like, I won't not eat it. I don't think it's terrible.
Yeah, I don't know. Part of it is because I don't like ranch, so I don't have anything to dip it in. I just got to do it raw.
You don't even like the onion dip or like the whatever that is.
Because I'm surprised you like that. Isn't that sour cream?
Yeah, I don't know. There's just for some reason I like it. I don't know.
Ugh.
Yeah,
gross. Although I do like sour cream and onion chips, but I don't like the actual like sour cream.
It's the flavor.
It's the cream and the cream in it.
Yeah,
I think is the sour cream is gross. Anyway, broccoli because I really like broccoli now. That's usually my go-to side if I'm getting a veggie at a restaurant. I usually go with the broccoli, little buttered.
I have a bunch of frozen broccoli in the freezer
broccoli.
right now. I'm just waiting to cook up a soup with it, and like a nice cheddar, a nice cheddar potato soup with it.
Yeah, broccoli cheddar soup is good. Okay, so celery. That's my last one, I guess. That I gotta.
This is wild.
Just eat some fucking grass. Like it's terrible. There's no flavor to it. And what little occasionally you do get some flavor, the flavor sucks. It's not a good flavor. It tastes like fucking grass. You're tasting fucking.
It's not that bad.
You're tasting chlorophyll is what you're eating.
No.
Just eat a fucking leaf off the tree. What the fuck does it taste like? That's another one. You gotta drown it in ranch or put fucking ants on a log on it. You gotta dip it in peanut butter for it to be fucking good.
It's not that.
Tell me when's the last time you enjoyed celery? You ever enjoy celery, or do you just eat it because like this is healthy? It's gross. It's stringy. It has the fucking quote unquote negative calories. It takes more for your body to burn through that fucking thing because it's a hunk of wood than you actually get from it. You don't get enough. You don't get anything from it. You don't get any nutrition really. It's like 89% water. There's nothing to it. It's fucking cellulose and water, and it tastes gross. It tastes like fucking dirt. Get out of here. That said, I will eat it, but it's the same thing. I'm like, I guess I'll eat some fucking celery because I just ate pizza for 4 days straight, so I gotta feel like I'm trying to be healthy. So I'll eat I'll force some fucking celery down. That's it. You cook it up, put it in some soup. It's a pretty good filler. That's all it's worth, though.
It's not that bad.
The only thing I think the only reason you don't mind it is because it's like not offensive. It's like it doesn't have like a bad taste.
Because
and the texture you can tolerate because it's not like weird and mushy.
The thing is I don't necessarily disagree with your points you made, but the topic is repulsive vegetables.
Yeah, it's repulsive to a lot of people, not us.
Repulsive.
Yeah.
Do you know what repulsive means? Because that's what a pickle is.
Yeah, to you and only you.
No.
There's a lot of people that don't like them. You're the only one that wants to write a freaking executive order about them.
Nuke them.
Yeah, you're the only one I've ever met that is like angry that pickles exist. You're angry at the person.
I'm angry that so many people like them.
4 millennia ago came up with the idea to pickle a cucumber.
Yeah. If I ever had a time machine, that's what I would go and stop. I'd stop the guy that made pickles.
And the thing with that is like you can't look it up and go and find that guy. That would take some investigative work to go find that guy. And I believe that you would do it. I believe you would
All
put in
I would
the
have
work
to do is go back
guy.
to the Jesus times and then add
Jesus times.
Add a commandment.
That was way before Jesus times.
Well, Jesus-ish times.
That was like 4,000 years before Jesus.
In the ballpark.
The ballpark. That 4,000 year ballpark. Just a couple of millennia, plus or minus 4,000 years from Jesus times. That's where I'm going.
Or I'd
from
go
4,000 BC.
I'd go back to
2,000 years from now.
I'd go back in time to the start of Christianity and convert and turn Christianity into anti-pickleism.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And that would be everybody's main religion that we fight over now?
That one you might be able to do.
Right.
Just sneak it into the scripture.
100%.
It's like no preserving vegetables.
Yeah.
You might like destroy civilization by doing that, but it might be worth it for you.
Civilization's already kind of destroyed as it is.
Well, it probably would have we would have had like the dark ages for like the rest of time, and then humans would have evolved into something else. Or like bears would have taken over the universe or something.
Kind of sounds like a good time.
Yeah. I mean, you wouldn't exist, but...
Kind of sounds like a good time.
And then you go back to modern times, there's just like dolphin people on the world. What happened?
Crab people. Crab people.
Anyway, you also mentioned mushrooms. Hit me with the mushroom take here.
I've never seen a mushroom that looks good. That actually no, it's a fungus. Also,
they do look gross.
And
they always look.
It's
terrible.
a fungus, basically.
It is.
Well, it's literally a fungus.
Yeah.
So, like, you think of fungus, you just think of like actual gross funguses or fungi.
Yeah, you think of athlete's foot.
So it's hard to differentiate the two, even though I'm very aware that there's quite a difference.
Yeah.
But you see one growing on the ground just out in your backyard for no reason.
You think of like decay.
Yeah.
Or something like that. Like the ground gets a little wet in the backyard, and suddenly you start getting these fucking toadstools popping up, and you're just like, "Yeah, let me just chop them up and put them on a pizza."
And
I'll pass.
I have to say this too. I do apologize in advance if a certain someone is listening, because one of her favorite things is mushrooms. And
yeah, gross.
So it's not a personal attack. They're just gross. But the Koopa Troop is cool.
That is fair. That's kind of like the Popeye for spinach, except you don't really eat the Koopa Troopas.
Yeah.
Are Goombas
Toad's cool.
Are Goombas mushrooms too?
I would. They look like it.
Aren't they in the like mushroom
They
kingdom?
look like, yeah.
Maybe they're mushrooms in the toads.
Yeah.
Are wait, did you say Koopa Troopa?
Yeah, I
That's
meant
the
Toad.
turtle one,
I meant
yeah.
Toad.
I
yeah.
was fully on board with
I
you.
know.
I'm like, yeah, fuck that, Koopa Troopa.
yeah.
That definitely, that turtle mushroom over there. No, yeah, the toads. Maybe they're toadstools and the Goombas are mushrooms. That's the idea. I don't know. But yeah, it's always just gross. You just think of decay.
Yep.
Like you go deep into a woods and there's like a rotting stump of an old tree and there's mushrooms growing all over it. Ugh. Like, really? Who decided that this was a good thing to eat?
I'm putting it as a probably.
Yeah, that's probably a good one. Do you have any other sure things? I feel like we listed all of them. We were pretty angry about most of these.
No.
Any like sleeper picks that we haven't mentioned that you want to throw out there? I feel like my sleeper was the tomatoes.
No, because I had tomatoes. I have a note here, and it said tomato debate, and then it's like botanically it's a fruit, but culinary wise it's a veggie.
Yeah.
And then I was like, if we're counting it, immediately a nominee.
Oh, okay.
So
the only reason you didn't have it in was
because I wasn't sure if we were going to include it.
Yeah.
So I'm 100.
Okay.
I'm on board.
Cool.
Because, yeah, fuck those things.
Okay.
One to sneak in there, I would probably say. Look, I'm gonna say this. I don't care, regardless of our final decision. Pickles is in there for me.
It's like
Pistol.
pickles with an asterisk.
Yeah. Whether you agree or not, whether we decide not to put them in there, it's going to be either in the top 5 or it's going to be 5A. That's just, I'm sorry. I'm switching up the rules for this episode.
Yeah. It's unofficial. You have your own like separate wing of just
because
your own
I would
nominees.
burn every pickle to the ground.
Yeah.
In front of its pickle family.
They're just they're so broadly loved. I can't in good conscience put it in there. So what else we got here? I'm big on celery. You're not. You're fighting me pretty good on that one.
I just don't think
you like the peppers.
I just don't think it's repulsive.
I'm not a big.
If we're defining something as repulsive, I don't think that's repulsive.
Yeah, for you, I've heard a lot of people that just hate celery. They're like mad about it. That was one of the ones. I heard as before I was leaving the house today. Hey, make sure you say celery.
There's no way.
And tomatoes is another one. Fuck tomatoes. I'm putting them in there.
Yep.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say.
Yeah, I've looked at it long enough.
Yeah.
Fuck tomatoes. They suck.
If I can't have a pickle, at least have tomato in there.
Yeah. What do you? How are we feeling about Brussels sprouts? I think that one's just it's such a cliche one. It's just like a classic. Same thing with broccoli. Broccoli's kind of won back a lot of the population.
Mm-hmm.
It's come back. People realize you throw a little cheese on there, it's not half bad.
See, here's what I'm down to. I'm down to the final 4 of cabbage, mushrooms, peppers, and squash.
I'm out on squash.
Mm.
I don't think it's that. I don't think it's again repulsive. I don't think it's repulsive, like you said with celery.
I don't know how you can look at those things side by side and be like, a stick of, okay, it's bland. And it's just like basically a grass stalk. Fine, I'll give you all that.
Yeah.
But when you look at it.
Is that appetizing to you?
But,
let me just go outside and start grazing.
Okay. What is repulsive to you then? Because repulsive to me is when I look at a pickle, I want to vomit.
Do you think that about squash? Do you think a lot of people do that about squash? I don't. When I look at squash, I'm like, not a fan, but I'm not like grossed out by it. When I think about eating celery and the fucking strings hanging out of my face, I don't want it.
Fine. If I can't have squash, you don't get celery.
I marked it as a follow-up. We'll keep going.
Well, then that leaves us with peppers,
So we got
cauliflower, or peppers, mushrooms, and cabbage.
Okay, I'm gonna take out broccoli. I think broccoli's eliminated. It's reclaimed some of its glory lately. I think.
It's just, I don't understand because I like broccoli, but it's essentially just celery with hair. Or it's celery with an afro.
You can't cook celery to be good though. The only cooked celery is when you slice it up and throw it in a soup or something. It's the only thing, and it's because you can't taste it. It's literally just filler. You throw it in there just so you have another thing. You want a green. You want something green in there to offset the orange of the carrot slices you're putting in there too.
Whatever you say.
Give me a positive for celery. You don't even have the best thing you have about celery is that it doesn't taste bad.
Again, it goes back to the definition of repulsive. I don't think it meets that criteria.
What about cauliflower? You think cauliflower is repulsive? It's just white broccoli, like you said.
No, I don't.
I thought you said that was part of it. That was one of your final four or whatever.
Yeah, it's a nominee, but I said I didn't say it as I said.
I thought that was one of the ones you just listed as your final four.
I said I meant to say cabbage because I said cauliflower out, or I mean cabbage. I changed it to cabbage. I was looking at the list and I accidentally said it. I didn't mean to say it.
Okay, so I got rid of cauliflower.
Yeah,
cabbage I think is the same thing. Cabbage I don't think is offensive unless you're talking about a specific way to serve it, which again goes back to your pickle thing, and we could put pickled everything and you would be hated. Like you could say pickled beets. But you agreed
with my point that
pickled whatever the fuck.
You use it to make
I don't know. I think it's like one version of that thing is gross. The rest of the time, it's fine. It's not offensive.
Okay. Cabbage roll? Sauerkraut?
Cabbage roll, part of that was probably because of the crap that they were putting in it. I don't know what the hell they stuff them with.
Fine.
Where else? What else we got?
Peppers.
I think they're too popular. They're too popular. What? Put your fucking headphones back on. Come on. Get out of here. People love peppers. They're in everything.
Is this list for us or them?
You like salsa? It's for everybody. If this was a list for us, it would be pickles, peppers, and then we'd be done. You'd put pickles in there 4 times, and pickles, pickled onions, sauerkraut just by itself, not even just cabbage, just sauerkraut because it's pickled. We'd have pickled beets and then peppers, and then we'd be done, and we wouldn't have a list anymore.
You're goddamn right.
Was that Batman? I'm not wearing hockey pads. No. I don't know. Where are we at here?
I don't know, man.
Fine. You don't think asparagus? You think asparagus is out? I think no peppers. I think no pickles. Sorry, you can have your 5A if you want. I'm out on squash too.
That's crazy.
We can eliminate celery because it's not that offensive.
Fine. What about mushrooms?
Mushrooms are in for me.
Okay.
Those are fucking gross. So that's 3. We got 3.
I finally got something.
We got peas, tomatoes, mushrooms. Now we're down to Brussels sprouts, cabbage, and asparagus. Oh, I eliminated. I'm eliminating cabbage.
That's dumb.
You're dumb. I'll put it back in. So asparagus, Brussels sprouts, cabbage. I think Brussels sprouts and asparagus are both like, they got like that classic, this vegetable's gross before you even try it when you're a kid. You just know it's gross.
Yeah.
Because of the culture around it. There's just like an aura of Brussels sprouts. I literally, the first time I tried it was like a month ago. Just steered all the way clear of that one.
You know, back to the asparagus. We both like it if it's cooked right.
Yeah.
But I can understand if somebody would look at it and be like, ew.
Yeah. It doesn't look super appetizing.
Right.
It does.
And that was like what was my hang up for a long time before I finally tried it.
Yeah.
Was it just looked gross.
You think you're in on asparagus?
I think I'm in on asparagus. Which is weird because we're going repulsive, but we both like it if it's cooked, done right.
Well, a handful of these are the same way.
Yeah. So I would say yes.
Asparagus is in. I'm cool with that. Now we're down to Brussels sprouts and cabbage. The sauerkraut thing is pretty gross. Oh God, it's just terrible. But again, cabbage by itself, cabbage in the raw, not terrible. It's inoffensive. I'm not repulsed by a head of cabbage.
But you're more or less, cabbage is used to make other things.
Yeah, you don't usually. You're not chopping it up in a salad.
Yeah, unless you're a bunny.
Yeah. Is that red cabbage that's in salads usually, or is that red lettuce or something?
So I don't know.
Purple cabbage. I don't know what the hell else you use cabbage for. Rabbits. I don't know. I think Brussels sprouts are the classic choice. It's kind of like asparagus. They're fine, but I feel like most people when they hear Brussels sprouts, they just assume it's going to be gross.
I think you're right, and I think I just don't know enough about them to make a.
But part of that is because you just assume they're gross, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think
I'm not going to try a Brussels sprout.
I think you're convincing me with that, Even though, man, cabbage, the thought of that just shivers. Like, and I'm not knocking people that like sauerkraut and make it, but my God, it's
people love it.
It's the smell. I can't get over how bad it smells.
Yeah,
that makes me not want to try it ever. Is how bad it smells.
I mean, I have tried it. I forked a little bit down. Ugh. No. Nope. Never again. Don't even try. Don't even attempt to force me into it. I don't care if it's good luck on New Year's Day. Get out of here. I will eat my sausages.
Yep.
My kielbasa.
I'll eat my kielbasa and mashed potatoes.
Yeah. All right. So we're good with that. We got peas as the no doubter.
All-timers club.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's the number one, not even a question. Tomatoes, close second. Mushrooms, surprise pick because it's not a vegetable, but we're putting it in there anyway. Brussels sprouts and asparagus.
And pickles.
Brussels sprouts and asparagus.
With a special shout out to pickles.
This is the only one with an honorable mention that actually makes it. So those are our 5.
Actually, you know what? We just make our own separate list for pickles. We just put it in the get fucked list.
Just get fucked. Yeah. Just the repulsive pickles list. Number 1, pickles. That's it. Yeah, so that's our list.
I'm good with it.
All right. Ding, ding. No, that's a different show. And that's the show. We hope you enjoyed it as much as the Beach Boys love their vegetables. And you can pay that love forward by sharing this podcast with your friends, your family, any picky eaters out there just like us. You can find us on Spotify and YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts. So don't forget to subscribe on your platform of choice so you never miss a new episode. I was going so well. You can hit like or give us a rating, leave us a review. That really helps us get seen on all those platforms. But the best way to spread the word is just telling someone you know. Maybe over the holidays, just give them a little tip. Here, try this one out. You can like us on Facebook and follow us at CCWisePod on Instagram, Threads, and Twitter. You can follow me on just about everything at Tyler_W. Where can we find your internet persona, Brando?
You can find me on Twitter at bwise23. I'm also on Instagram at NotTheFakeBW, and I'm also on TikTok at NotTheFakeBrandonWise. So go ahead and join us in a couple weeks when we have a special Christmas-themed episode of Counterclockwise.
And stay Brolden. But the best way to suppress... God damn it! But the best way to suppress... Fuck, I did it again. Supred. Whatever the fuck that means.
The best way to suppress
it. Jesus, okay.